Once upon a time, in a big and beautiful city, there lived a very rich woman named Madame Gloria. She owned many businesses, drove expensive cars, and lived in a mansion with golden gates. Everyone in the city knew her name, but not because she was kind. Madame Gloria was a proud and heartless woman who treated people poorly, especially those who worked for her. One day, a woman named Auntie Grace brought a young girl named Amara to Madame Gloria's house. Amara was a poor girl from the village. Auntie Grace had promised to take care of her, but instead, she brought her to the city to work as a maid. Amara did not know what was ahead of her, but she hoped for a better life. When Madame Gloria saw Amara, she frowned. "Is this the girl you brought?" she asked coldly. "Yes, madam," Auntie Grace replied. "She is strong and hardworking. She will serve you well." Madame Gloria sighed. "Fine. Take her to the servants' quarters. She must wake up early every day to clean the house, wash my clothes, and cook my meals. If she makes any mistakes, she will not eat." Amara's days in Madame Gloria's house were full of pain and hardship. Every morning, before the sun rose, she woke up to clean the house. She swept the floors, washed clothes, and cooked food she was never allowed to eat. Even when she worked hard, Madame Gloria was never satisfied. "You are too slow," she would shout. "Do you want me to send you back to the village?" Amara wanted to cry, but she held back her tears. She had nowhere else to go. If Madame Gloria sent her away, she would have no food and no shelter. The only person who showed her kindness was Mama Nkechi, the cook. Mama Nkechi would sometimes sneak food to Amara and whisper, "My dear, don't lose hope. One day, your story will change." Amara wished Mama Nkechi's words would come true, but every day felt worse than the one before. One evening, as Amara was cleaning Madame Gloria's bedroom, she noticed a small picture frame on the table. It was an old photograph of a young woman holding a baby. Amara felt a strange connection to the picture, but she did not understand why. As she stared at it, Madame Gloria suddenly entered the room. She saw Amara holding the picture and became furious. "Who gave you the right to touch my things?" she shouted. Amara quickly placed the picture back. "I'm sorry, madam. I was just dusting." Madame Gloria snatched the picture and looked at it for a moment. Her face softened, and she looked sad. But then, she quickly pushed the feeling away. "Get out of my room," she snapped. As Amara left the room, she could not stop thinking about the picture. Who was the baby? And why did Madame Gloria look so sad when she saw it? A few days later, Madame Gloria received a letter that made her heart race. She sat in her luxurious living room and opened the envelope with shaky hands. As she read the letter, her face turned pale. It was from a woman in the village who knew about her past. The letter read, "The child you lost many years ago is alive, and she is closer than you think." Madame Gloria's hands trembled. Could it be true? Had her long-lost child been found? For the first time in years, Madame Gloria felt afraid. She looked at Amara as she worked. Could this poor girl be her daughter? She needed to find out the truth. Madame Gloria could not get the letter out of her mind. She had to know if Amara was truly her daughter. But how could she find out without telling anyone? That night, while Amara was sleeping, Madame Gloria quietly entered her small room. She carefully took a strand of Amara's hair and placed it in a small plastic bag. The next morning, she sent the hair to the hospital for a DNA test. The results would take a few days, and Madame Gloria could not wait. As she watched Amara work, she started to notice things she had never paid attention to before. The way she walked, the way she smiled, and even the way she spoke. Something inside Madame Gloria told her that the letter was true. But if Amara was truly her daughter, how would she tell her? And after treating her so badly, would Amara ever forgive her? The days felt long as Madame Gloria waited for the DNA test results. She found herself watching Amara closely, noticing little details she had never paid attention to before. The way Amara laughed, the way she frowned when she was deep in thought, everything reminded her of someone from her past. Finally, the day arrived. The hospital sent the results in a sealed envelope. Madame Gloria's hands shook as she opened it. Her eyes widened as she read the words on the paper. The DNA test confirmed that Amara was her daughter. Tears rolled down Madame Gloria's cheeks. The child she had cried over, the baby she had lost so many years ago, had been under her roof all this time. But instead of treating her with love, she had treated her like a slave. She sat down, feeling ashamed. "How could I have been so blind?" she whispered. Madame Gloria's mind went back to the past, to the moment she had lost her child. Many years ago, she had been a young, struggling woman who fell in love with a man named Chike. They were not married, and when she got pregnant, Chike abandoned her. Her family had been angry and disappointed. She was too poor to care for a baby, so when she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, she had no choice but to give her away. She had cried for years, wondering if her daughter was safe. Now, she had found her, but instead of being a loving mother, she had been cruel. Madame Gloria wiped her tears. She had to fix things. But how could she tell Amara the truth? Madame Gloria called Mama Nkechi into her room. "Mama Nkechi, sit down," she said. Mama Nkechi noticed Madame Gloria's red eyes. "Madam, are you all right?" Madame Gloria took a deep breath. "Amara is my daughter." Mama Nkechi gasped. "What?" Madame Gloria showed her the DNA test results. "I lost her years ago, and now I have found her. But I have treated her so badly. What do I do?" Mama Nkechi smiled softly. "The first step is to ask for her forgiveness." Madame Gloria called Amara into her room. The young girl was surprised because Madame Gloria never invited her to sit. "Amara," Madame Gloria began, her voice shaking. "There is something important I need to tell you." Amara looked confused. "Madam, is everything all right?" Madame Gloria took her hands. "Amara, you are not just a maid in this house. You are my daughter." Amara's eyes widened. "What? That's not possible." Tears filled Madame Gloria's eyes. "I did a DNA test. You are the child I lost years ago." Amara felt like her world had stopped. Was this a dream? Amara pulled her hands away. "No, this is not true. You can't be my mother." Madame Gloria wept. "It is true, my child. I was young and poor when I had you. I had no choice but to give you away. I never stopped thinking about you." Amara shook her head. "But you treated me like a slave. You hated me." Madame Gloria fell to her knees. "I was blind, Amara. I was cruel, and I don't deserve your forgiveness. But please, my daughter, let me make things right." Tears ran down Amara's face. She wanted to hate Madame Gloria, but deep inside, she felt pain. Mama Nkechi watched from the door. "Amara, sometimes life brings painful surprises, but love can heal everything." Amara didn't know if she could forgive, but she knew one thing. Her life had changed forever. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more beautiful folktales like this one. Let's keep the storytelling fire burning together. Amara sat alone in her small room that night, her mind filled with thoughts. She had spent years suffering in Madame Gloria's house, not knowing she was her own mother. How could life be so unfair? She thought about the beatings, the harsh words, and the hunger she had endured. Was this really what a mother did to her child? At the same time, she remembered the way Madame Gloria cried earlier. Was she truly sorry? Could she be trusted? Mama Nkechi knocked on the door and entered. "My child, are you all right?" Amara wiped her eyes. "Mama Nkechi, I don't know what to do." Mama Nkechi sat beside Amara and held her hands. "Life is full of surprises, my dear. But do you know what makes people strong? Forgiveness." Amara frowned. "But how can I forgive her after everything she did to me?" Mama Nkechi sighed. "Forgiveness is not easy. It takes time. But holding on to anger only hurts you more." Amara looked down. "She never loved me. She only made me suffer." Mama Nkechi smiled gently. "That may be true, but look at her now. She is begging for another chance. Will you give her one?" Amara sighed deeply. She didn't have an answer yet. Madame Gloria stayed in her room all night, unable to sleep. The guilt in her heart was too heavy. She thought about the years she had mistreated Amara. If she had known the truth earlier, would she have treated her better? She walked to the window and looked outside. The city lights were bright, but her heart felt dark. Would Amara ever forgive her? She made a decision. From now on, she would do everything to win her daughter's heart. She had lost Amara once. She would not lose her again. The next morning, Madame Gloria called Amara again. This time, she did not sit on her expensive chair. Instead, she knelt before Amara. "My daughter, please forgive me," she said, her voice breaking. Amara was shocked. She had never seen Madame Gloria kneel before anyone. "I know I don't deserve your love," Madame Gloria continued, "but I want to change. I want to be the mother you deserve." Amara felt tears in her eyes. Deep inside, she had always longed for a mother's love. But could she trust Madame Gloria? She looked at Mom and Ketchy, who nodded encouragingly. Amara took a deep breath. "I don't know if I can forgive you now, but I will try." Madame Gloria smiled through her tears. "That is all I ask, my child." From that day, Madame Gloria changed. She no longer shouted at Amara. She no longer treated her like a maid. She bought her new clothes, gave her a comfortable room, and even sat with her at the dining table. At first, Amara found it strange. She was not used to kindness from Madame Gloria. But slowly, she started to believe that maybe, just maybe, her mother was truly sorry. Madame Gloria decided to take Amara to the village where she was born. At first, Amara refused. "I don't want to go back there." Madame Gloria held her hands. "Please, my daughter. I want to show you where you came from. I want to meet the people who took care of you." Amara sighed. "Okay." When they arrived in the village, an old woman ran to them, tears in her eyes. "Amara, my child." Amara was confused. "Who are you?" The woman smiled. "I am the midwife who delivered you. I never thought I would see you again." The old woman, Mama Ifioma, invited them into her small hut. She told Amara the full story of her birth. "Your mother was young and scared. She had no money, no food. She wept the day she gave you away." Amara's heart softened a little. She had always thought Madame Gloria abandoned her because she didn't want her. But now, she saw things differently. Madame Gloria held Amara's hands. "If I could turn back time, I would have kept you. I was foolish." Amara looked into her mother's eyes. For the first time, she saw real pain and regret. Maybe, just maybe, she could truly forgive. When they returned from the village, Madame Gloria did something unexpected. She asked Amara to move into the main house. "You are no longer a maid," she said. "This is your home." Amara was hesitant. She had spent years in the small servants' quarters. Was she really allowed to live in the big house? Mama Nkechi smiled. "Go, my child. You deserve it." With slow steps, Amara entered her new room. It was big and beautiful, with a soft bed and lovely curtains. For the first time in years, she felt like she truly belonged. The city was full of gossip. Everyone was shocked to hear that Madame Gloria had a long-lost daughter. Some people whispered, "How can that poor girl be Madame Gloria's child?" Others said, "She was just a maid. Now she is living like a princess." Amara felt uncomfortable with the stares and whispers. But Madame Gloria held her hand. "Ignore them, my daughter. You are more than what people say." Amara smiled. Maybe she was. Madame Gloria worked hard to win Amara's heart. She took her shopping, helped her learn new skills, and even cooked for her one evening. Amara laughed. "Mother, you don't know how to cook." Madame Gloria chuckled. "Then you will teach me." They both laughed and cooked together. It was the first time Amara truly felt close to her mother. Mamas and Ketchy watched them happily. "This is how life should be," she said to herself. As days passed, Amara slowly began to accept her new life. Though she had once feared Madame Gloria, she started to see a different side of her mother, one that was caring and willing to change. One afternoon, Madame Gloria surprised Amara with a special gift, a locket with a small picture of a baby inside. "This was yours," Madame Gloria said softly. "I kept it all these years, hoping I would find you one day. Amara opened the locket and touched the tiny picture. Tears filled her eyes. It was proof that her mother had never truly forgotten her. At that moment, something inside Amara melted. She still had scars, but she knew one thing. She was ready to give her mother a chance. Just when Amara was settling into her new life, Auntie Grace, the woman who had brought her to Madame Gloria's house, returned. She had heard the news that Amara was actually Madame Gloria's daughter, and she was furious. This girl was nothing but a housemaid. Now she is living like a queen, Auntie Grace hissed. She went to Madame Gloria's mansion, pretending to be happy. Madam, I came to congratulate you, she said sweetly. Madame Gloria frowned. You never told me Amara was my daughter. Why? Auntie Grace laughed nervously. I didn't know either, madam. But deep inside, she was filled with jealousy. She had once controlled Amara's life, and now she had lost that power. Auntie Grace was not ready to let Amara enjoy her happiness. She decided to turn Madame Gloria against her daughter again. She whispered lies to Madame Gloria. Madam, be careful. That girl has changed. She is only pretending to love you for your money. Madame Gloria frowned. No, Amara is a good girl. But Auntie Grace didn't stop. Madam, do you know she talks badly about you to the servants? Doubt began to creep into Madame Gloria's heart. What if Auntie Grace was right? That evening, Madame Gloria watched Amara closely, looking for signs of betrayal. One evening, Madame Gloria overheard two maids whispering. She is lucky. A maid becoming a rich woman's daughter? Life is unfair. Madame Gloria felt angry. Was this how people saw Amara? Was Auntie Grace right? The next morning, Madame Gloria spoke coldly to Amara. You are changing, Amara. I hope you are not becoming proud. Amara was shocked. Mother, what do you mean? Madame Gloria sighed. Just remember where you came from. Amara felt hurt. After all the love she had started to feel, was her mother turning against her again? Amara went to Mama Nkechi in tears. Mama Nkechi, I don't understand. My mother is acting differently. Mama Nkechi sighed. Someone is poisoning her mind. You must be careful. Amara wiped her tears. I will not let anyone take my happiness away. The next morning, she confronted Auntie Grace. Why are you trying to turn my mother against me? Auntie Grace laughed. You are just a poor girl pretending to be rich. You don't belong here. Amara stood tall. I am Madame Gloria's daughter. No one can change that. Auntie Grace gritted her teeth. She had to find another way to remove Amara. Madame Gloria continued to doubt Amara until one day, she overheard Auntie Grace speaking on the phone. She trusts me now, Auntie Grace said. Soon, I will make sure she throws that girl out. Madame Gloria's heart sank. She had been fooled. That night, she called Auntie Grace and said, I know what you did. Leave my house and never return. Auntie Grace was shocked. Madam, Get out! Madame Gloria shouted. As Auntie Grace left, Amara felt relief. Her mother had chosen her. Madame Gloria sat beside Amara that evening. My daughter, I almost lost you again, because I listened to lies. Amara smiled sadly. I was afraid you didn't trust me. Madame Gloria held her hands. From now on, I will only trust my heart. And my heart tells me that I love you, Amara. Amara hugged her mother. I love you too. For the first time, they felt truly united. Madame Gloria decided to throw a party to introduce Amara to society as her daughter. She invited many important people, and when the day came, Amara wore a beautiful dress, looking like a princess. When Madame Gloria held her hand and said, Meet my daughter, Amara, there was loud applause. Amara smiled. She was no longer a housemaid. She was loved. Mama Nkechi wiped a tear. God truly changes stories. As weeks passed, Amara started school. Madame Gloria wanted her to have the best education. She worked hard, determined to make her mother proud. One day, Madame Gloria said, Amara, I want you to help me manage my businesses. Amara's eyes widened. Me? Yes, my daughter. I trust you. Amara hugged her mother. Her new life had truly begun. Amara sat down and wrote a letter. To the girl who was once a maid, never forget where you came from, but never be afraid to rise. Love, Amara. She placed the letter in her drawer. It was a reminder of her journey from suffering to happiness. Her story was proof that no matter where you come from, love and forgiveness can change everything. Thank you for listening, my dear friends. If this story touched your heart or made you smile, please like, share, and subscribe to Joyce Queen Folktales. There are many more magical tales waiting for you. Until next time, stay kind, stay wise, and keep the stories alive.